Sena, who's a senior lawyer at the Supreme Court, is also with us on the broadcast. We'll also have Tausif Ahmed Khan, a lawyer and analyst, to join us in just a few minutes from now. Swati, let's open the debate with you. If the order of the magistrate court was procedurally flawed and legally baseless, then why is it that the Sessions Court has refused to give Mr. Rahul Gandhi any kind of relief? Swati ji.
Well, whatever the Session Court has said today in its order, that is also completely flawed, and it's filled with loopholes. It's filled with factually incorrect things, legally you can't uphold those things legally, though the reasoning that has been given by the Session Court. And that is why, like you said, right now, we will be moving the High Court. There are times when, the lower courts do not pass the correct orders in the opinion of the litigant. And that is why the High Court and the appellate courts are open to us. So that is why we will be approaching the High Court tomorrow or day after. And I can get into the grounds of appeal right now. They're going to be added. There are going to be a lot more grounds than what we'll discuss on the debate. And I can talk about the loopholes of the debate of the order as well. But as and when you want to start the debate on the loopholes of the debate, I'm happy to loopholes
Swati,
of the order. I'm happy to do it.
Touch upon the political aspects of this debate as well. The BJP has been making that argument, and Sanju, I'll just come to you. The BJP has been making that argument that the Congress party or certain individuals, clearly hinting towards Rahul Gandhi, consider themselves to be above law. They say that they are the judge, jury and the decisive force in this country, and if they've said a court order is flawed, then it is flawed. That's their argument. Is that an argument with any degree of substance?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Rahul Gandhi, when he was summoned by the court, he went, he attended his hearing, he attended the court, he gave a statement. If he thought himself to be above law, or if the Congress party thought that he is above law, the Congress party is above law, then we would not abide with any court order. And not just this order. After this, when the disqualification happened, he's been asked to vacate the house. The vacation has already started. Right? He's already started the procedure of vacating the house as well. So where is this whole, this high-handedness is not what the Congress or the Gandhi family has. It is what the BJP is suffering with. It is, and you can see
where is the high-handedness? Rahul Gandhi has responded to the court summons. He has complied with the court order. He has vacated his bungalow. Then why are you making this to be some kind of, an instance where Mr. Gandhi has not complied with any kind of orders? Congress party says he is a law-abiding citizen. We will move the court of law. Sanju ji.
Thank you, Anusha. Good to be on your show after quite a bit. Anusha, let me just make a couple of points. Though you summed up in the introduction very succinctly, but for the benefit of your viewers, there are certain things I want to reinforce. Point number one, the additional sessions judge, Justice Robin Mogera, clearly said that the trial of Rahul Gandhi and the subsequent judgment is fair and not harsh. Rahul Gandhi and his lawyers were given sufficient time to cross-examine the witnesses from the other side. Point number two, the judge clearly said that Rahul Gandhi did not only humiliate the Prime Minister but caused mental agony to many people within the OBC community who have Modi as the surname. The third, and I think very important argument made by the judges, that Rahul Gandhi and his counsel failed to prove that disqualification basically means an irrevocable loss. The judge clearly said that disqualification does not tantamount to an irrevocable loss, and Rahul Gandhi has not been able to showcase how this is an exceptional circumstance or the rarest of the rare cases whereby his conviction should be stayed. And I think the other important thing, because the Congress brass has been quoting Section 389(1) of the CRPC, saying that Section 389(1) has been abused and misused. So I would like to remind the Congress, legal brass, that Justice Robin Mogera also said that any judgment given by using Section 389(1) of the CRPC is discretionary and is completely within the bounds of the said judge, how or he or she wants to use Section 389. And I think we need to also note one very important thing. Be it the Lily Thomas judgment of 2013, be it the Lok Prahari judgment of 2018, or Anusha for that matter, be it the Ravikant S. Patil judgment of 2007. And I will just take 10 seconds to tell you that in the Ravikant S. Patil judgment of 2007, the execution of the sentence was stayed, but the conviction per se was not stayed, by virtue of which the disqualification was not stayed. So I think Rahul Gandhi can argue till the cows come home, but if you look at past history of Supreme Court verdicts in this particular matter pertaining to criminal defamation and disqualification, nothing out of the ordinary has been done. 37 MLAs and MPs in the past many years have been disqualified when they have been convicted, including 7 from the BJP. Let's not forget Lalu Prasad Yadav, ex-chief minister, was disqualified. J. Jayalalalitha, ex-chief minister, was disqualified. Rashid Masood, a Congress MP, was disqualified in 2013.
I think it's a settled proposition of law, and it's a law laid down by the Supreme Court of India, that if you're convicted and your sentence is more than 2 years or 2 years, then you are barred from contesting elections. That's the law of the land, and it's same for all individuals, whether in the Congress or in the BJP. Swati, I'm coming back to you. And, this entire argument that the Congress party has also been earlier raising about institutions being hijacked and not doing their job. There is a rather provocative question which is often put to the Congress party, that do you have no faith in the institutions of this country? So when you say that a magistrate court order was procedurally completely wrong, or Sessions Court today has not granted you relief and they have not understood the law, are the courts correct only when they agree with the Congress party?
Sure, thank you for asking this question, because there seems to be a lot of confusion about, criticism of judgment taken to be criticism of the court.
Yeah.
If we were not to criticize the judgment passed by the court, there would be no appeals filed by anybody. There would be no appellate courts. It is only when we criticize a judgment, an opinion, a judgment by the court that we file an appeal. So the fact that the Constitution provides us with an option, right? If we can criticize the judgment and file an appeal, then there is no question of criticizing courts. That can't be taken, that can't be equated with criticizing courts. Coming back to this order that has been passed today, we are not criticizing
one point that I want you to perhaps clarify. There's an interjection. When you say that a complete due process at a magistrate court was vitiated and was illegal and was somewhere politically influenced, that's not a criticism of a particular order or a judgment. It's a statement on the institution which you're authorized to make in a functioning democracy. But at least own up to it that that's a comment that you're making on a particular institution.
Well, you look at the timeline of that case, and we are not pointing fingers at a particular judge who's passed this order. No, it is not that. But if you look at the timeline, there are sometimes even in the judiciary, there's some sort of procedural things which are used and misused by all of us, by the litigants is what I mean. Now look at the timeline of before the magistrate court. This was the first time that a complainant went to a higher court. Now, what had happened was a complaint was filed. Mr. Rahul Gandhi was called. Pre-summoning evidence happened. He was summoned. He came to the court. His statement was recorded as well. Thereafter, the complainant himself went to the higher court and got the matter stayed. Because the judicial
Swati,
officer,
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but the fact that you're pointing out this procedural irregularity on a television debate, and the Congress party has done that ever since this order has come out, and you've not been able to convince a court of law, what does that tell us? My last point, and then I'll go to Sanju Verma and others.
Yes, that only means that for some, whatever the reasons may be, we've not been able to convince the magistrate courts or the sessions court now, and we will go to the high court. It's not very, it's nothing extraordinary that 2 courts have declined the relief. No. It happens all the time.
Quick point from Sanju Verma, then I'll go to Tausif Ahmed Khan and Amitabh Sena.
Okay. Anusha, I just want to say, the one thing that I keep hearing repeatedly from the Congress legal eagles is that, 2 years of sentence is very harsh. But I just want to say that the judge has clearly said that 2 years is permissible under law. And under section 389 of the CRPC, the judgment by the judge, whether it should be 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, is completely at the discretion of the respective judge. And last but not the least, Rahul Gandhi is not an infant. He is a full-grown adult and he's a repeat offender. He's a habitual offender. As you and me speak, Anusha, there are at least 10 criminal defamation cases pending across the country against Rahul Gandhi for making repeated wild and reckless allegations that Gandhi was killed by RSS, Gauri Lankesh was killed by RSS, Amit Shah was the director of
it is not unknown, and you would know that as a person in public and political life, that criminal defamation is also often used as a political tool, and that is the reason why there have been so many debates around this particular provision of law.
Anusha,
yeah.
you made a very interesting argument, but I will just quickly say this to you. As recently as 2016, in the judgment of Subramanian Swamy versus the Union of India, the Supreme Court has upheld the legality and the sanctity of criminal defamation via sections 500 and 499 of the IPC and section 199(2) and 199(4) of the CRPC. So as long as criminal defamation is upheld by the Supreme Court, let us not try and second guess the apex court.
No, I take that point on the procedural merit, that while on the equity principles we may debate that whether we should have criminal defamation or not, but it exists on the statute book and it has been upheld by the Supreme Court of India. Tausif Ahmed Khan, how do you see the order that has come in from the court today denying Rahul Gandhi any kind of relief that he was seeking from the court, especially the stay on conviction, which is so imperative for him and for his political career? Tausif.
You see, stay on conviction in a matter like this is expected as a rule. However, the rejection of a stay on conviction it was seen as an exception, which is now totally shocking. Why it is shocking? Because this proceeding as well as the court orders, the order that was passed today, has a political ramification. And neither court nor the people nor the judiciary be blind to the entire picture of what revolves around this court proceeding. This court proceeding against Rahul Gandhi, in effect, handicaps the opposition. And what is the motto of the current BJP regime is to have a country where there is no opposition. Therefore, it is very important.
But Tausif, all these arguments are not pertinent to a court of law when they decide on the guilt or the innocence of a person. Whether the opposition is handicapped by a particular order is not decisive in whether Rahul Gandhi is guilty of criminal defamation or not, is it?
I will tell you why. I will tell you what. Because there is no precedent where the leader of one of the very known senior member of parliament and very known face in the country as a leader of the opposition, who has been handed in a criminal defamation where there is a there is a good case on merit on the other side as well, where they've been handed a longest term, the longest sentence allowed, 2 years. The maximum sentence is awarded only to have a different kind of
you would
impact
have to you have all the right to make the argument that you're making right now, but make it directly then your allegation is not against the BJP. You're basically arguing that magistrate court is working at the behest of the ruling government. Then say that directly, that the institutions are working, judicial institutions are working at the behest of the government, because an entire due process of law is vitiated. Because right now you're making that the argument rather indirectly.
A direct allegation on judiciary cannot be made because it cannot be proved. Yes, a direct statement can be made that judiciary should abstain from allowing itself be influenced by what is happening in the TV channel or what is being demanded or what is being seen by the supporters of the ruling regime. That is how we can put it. We cannot say something that cannot be proven. Like, for example, in this particular case, first of all, who are the petitioner before the court? Whether all the due process was followed? No, it was not followed. Look at who's the petitioner. Look at the interpretation, the extreme interpretation. When this interpretation being made out that it has insulted the entire Modi community, the entire community with the Modi surname.
So
this is an unambiguous interpretation. It is not the one and only interpretation.
Sanjay ji, I'll come to you. Tausif, then answer this question to me. This is the same Congress party that directly went to the Supreme Court when Mr. Pawan Kheda was facing certain legal action against him. And the Supreme Court, in its right wisdom, granted him relief because the court thought that he deserves relief. This is the same grand old party that took weeks to approach a sessions court. They said we're taking time because the order is in Gujarati or whatever other reasons, but they have the best of the lawyers in this country. Then you're basically arguing that this particular party, which has all the legal might that it is not able to approach the higher courts, which far more is. What explains the kind of approach or attitude that the Congress party has adopted, rather dragging their feet? Aren't they milking the situation equally?
No, you see, all the options before the lower courts have to be exhausted. The matter is before the court in
Yes,
Gujarat.
yes.
It was before the trial court, it has gone to a sessions court. Then there is a procedure, it will go to the high court, it will go to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that does not mean that Congress party or Rahul Gandhi can expect justice only from Supreme Court and no justice they can expect from Gujarat.
No, you're
That's the
absolutely right.
failure
I
of
have never
democracy.
said anything that says anything
Gujarat
about
court
my
will have to give the
presumptions of
justice to Rahul
institutions in this
Gandhi.
country. In fact, you said that you can't make
Also,
a direct
Anushka,
argument. 1 minute, Swati ji. Amitabh Sinha has been very patiently listening to all our arguments. I want to go to him as well. Amitabh ji, I want your expertise on the kind of order that has come from the Gujarat court today. There are various arguments being made on both the sides, whether it's legally tenable or it's not tenable, whether there are grounds or no grounds. When you saw the order today, what's your assessment and understanding, sir?
Anushka, the most important part of this entire debate, what I was listening to,
Yeah.
was one party is saying that no, it's entirely under the judicial purview and it was justified, and another part is that it is politically motivated, politically influenced. So I am really pained, as you know, a student of law and a practicing lawyer of the courts. See, this situation is a really unfortunate situation. If it is quite common that the losing party, losing client of ours, they generally under frustration they say that okay, I was not given justice. But it is not common that a client, even as individual client, leave apart a group or a party, they raise fingers upon the integrity of the judiciary. So here I have witnessed that because of this judgment, the Congress party has started directly and very clearly they are trying to say that judiciary is basically influenced by political
Amitabh ji, there was a caveat. There was a caveat that the Congress person drew some time ago. Swati made an interesting point that just because the Congress party is criticizing a particular court order, that doesn't mean that they are attacking the judiciary. It should not be seen in that spirit. How do you see that argument?
Anushka, I was very patiently and very carefully listening. The words used by the Congress spokesperson was very clear that this was politically influenced judgment. It is a politically influenced judgment. When you will just rewind your this video, you will also come to know that the spokesperson used this word. That's why I am saying we are basically very particular about the phrases and the words being used in the entire context, and Rahul Gandhi is also being punished because of the wrong use of words and phrases. Phrases. So and he has not only been punished because of the wrong use of words, he has been punished because of his highest level of arrogance. He has been given twice the chance to apologize, but I don't know whether it was deliberate, it was because of such particular planning and strategy by the leaders of the Congress party that Rahul Gandhi should be given this such type of publicity, because he has nothing to lose more. So 2 years, they also know that this is the highest
maximum
punishment, another 499, 500
I am sure there are a lot of points that you want to rebut, especially what Mr. Amitabh Sinha said. But I want to add an argument, Swati, and I want you to respond to that.
I am just...
Yes, Amitabh.
Should I make it clear now? Because so this is because of the arrogance of the Rahul Gandhi, wrong use of words.
I'll take that. Amitabh ji, allow me to take that point to the Congress party.
Ensured.
Allow me to take that point to the Congress party as well. Swati ji, before you answer Amitabh ji on his points, there's a point that I want to raise. Why is it that the Congress party dragged its feet when it came to knocking at the doors of the court? Often it is true, and I'm glad that due process is being followed. You went to the Sessions Court, the High Court and the Supreme Court. But political parties and well-placed individuals in our country are known to directly approach High Court or Supreme Court in this country. And in this case, Rahul Gandhi's MPship and his political existence was under question. There was no sense of urgency that was shown by the Congress party. Even to approach the Sessions Court, it took the Congress party weeks. Was the Congress party dragging its feet to milk the situation politically?
Akshay, thank you for asking this question, because this is what is leading to a lot of confusion. Now, when you give the example of Mr. Pawan Khera or the other individuals who go straight to the Supreme Court, you would notice that Mr. Pawan Khera went to the Supreme Court. There were multiple FIRs. So when there are multiple jurisdictions, multiple states involved, that's when you go to the Supreme Court. Whether it was for the spokesperson of the BJP who went straight to the Supreme Court, or if it was for the news, the editor-in-chief of a particular news channel that went into straight to the Supreme Court, or whether it is Pawan Kheda who went straight to the Supreme Court. So when there are multiple jurisdiction of states, various states involved, that's when you go to the Supreme Court. Otherwise, in this matter, in this defamation case, there is a criminal, CRPC there. There is a procedure laid out. You first go to MA.
Wasn't he granted a bail from the court? Wasn't he granted?
No,
wasn't
no,
he
no,
granted
no,
a
no,
bail
no, the
from the
same-
court, or
the same
an
argument
interim
of the
protection
Congress
for
person.
him?
Please.
Yes, Sanju ji, I'm
The
coming.
same
Let Swati
argument
finish
of
her
the
argument. Then Sanju Verma, please. Swati, please go ahead.
Yeah, please tell me. Please ask your question again.
I wanted to ask you that in the case of Pawan Kheda, there was also an immediate relief that was granted to him by the Supreme Court. It was not just clubbing of FIRs.
Protection. Yes. He was granted protection. He was granted protection for a few days, but that's because there were multiple states involved. It wasn't one particular FIR only. There were multiple states, and that's why he went. He said that there's too many. Where all can he go and defend himself? That's what happened, and that is why he was granted protection. And he was the Dwarka magistrate was also told to grant bail for 3-4 days.
No, similar situation.
Anusha, can I come in, please?
One second.
Was there
Sir,
in case
sir,
of Rahul Gandhi also.
please allow.
Multiple FIRs were there. Multiple.
Amitabh ji, I'll come to you.
petitions
Amitabh
were
ji, I'll
there.
come to
Why
you.
Rahul Gandhi didn't?
Amitabh ji, I'll come to you. That's a legitimate question to ask, and that's the question I had put to the Congress spokesperson as well. Sanju Verma, please make your point.
Anusha, we can go in circles round and round, but I think the key point that needs to be mentioned here is, has there been past precedents when people who have been convicted have lost their qualification as a Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha MP or an MLA? Yes. Has there been the Lily Thomas case of 2013 and the Lok Prahari case of 2018, which have upheld conviction and have upheld disqualification of the concerned person? Yes. Is Rahul Gandhi somebody who's a habitual offender? Yes. Did Rahul Gandhi, even after the Surat District Court's judgment, apologize when he had enough time? No. Is Rahul Gandhi arrogant? Yes. Has Rahul Gandhi's case by his counsel shown to be exceptional to the Surat Sessions Court? The judge said that the counsel for Rahul Gandhi failed to prove that Rahul Gandhi's conviction for 2 years and his subsequent disqualification is the rarest of rare cases. And the most important point is this. Rahul Gandhi started his speech by saying this, Anusha, मैं आपसे एक सवाल करना चाहता हूं. ये जो मोदी, नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, ये सब मोदी चोर क्यों होते हैं? Which means he categorically tried to malign the entire community of OBCs which have Modi as their surname and refused to apologize. So I will say even 2 years is very less for Rahul Gandhi.
He said these three individuals are chores.
Okay.
2 साल की सजा भी कम है. Rahul
All
Gandhi
right.
is
Tausif
the
Ahmed Khan, a
offender.
quick reaction from you, and I'll take the last word from Swati Malik. Tausif ji, go ahead.
You see, just now the panelists before me mentioned that Rahul Gandhi mentioned 3 names and said that why Modis, these 3 Modis are the thieves.
Yeah.
So how is he saying that the entire community is thief? I mean, she is making her
Are you
own
not ashamed of
interpretation
yourself?
only
Rahul Gandhi
to
abused the Prime Minister of
build
the
a case
country,
against
and you're
Rahul
sitting here
Gandhi.
and giving me a
This
bhashan.
case,
Thodi sharam karo.
if these 3
Rahul
people,
Gandhi
these
abused
3
the
people,
Prime Minister of this
Narendra Modi
country,
can
Sanju
go
and
ji,
you're
straight.
sitting
let-
here and
let
giving
him
me a
finish his
lecture on
argument.
political
Against Rahul
morality.
Gandhi.
Thodi
Let him
sharam
finish his
karo.
argument. Sanju ji,
Rahul
let him
Nirav
finish his
Gandhi is a
argument.
repeat offender.
Nirav Modi,
Let him finish his
Lalit
argument.
Modi,
I'll come to you
and
for a
Narendra Modi.
rebuttal.
These 3 people can go
Tausif.
and file a case against Rahul Gandhi. Then that
So
would be a
you're saying the
legitimate
Prime
case.
Minister
If
can be
Narendra Modi
abused
today goes to court and
repeatedly by
says, why
Rahul
did you
Gandhi
call
and
me
the
thief?
BJP should be sitting and twiddling its thumbs. You're saying
Anushka,
Rahul Gandhi has a carte
small
blanche to
intervention.
Nirav Modi,
repeatedly abuse the
There
Prime
has to be
Minister.
no.
And
There
Narendra
has to be a
Modi
decorum to
can
this
file
debate.
a
There has to
case
be a decorum to
against
this
Rahul
debate.
Gandhi, not
Tausif
anybody or
Ahmed Khan
everybody.
right now, and then I'll take in a word from others. Tausif, finish your point. 30 seconds.
See,
No, he
only
can't be
3
abusing
people
the
who was
Prime Minister.
named by
Sanju ji, I'll
Rahul
come to you.
Gandhi.
Yeah.
Do not disturb me. Only
Tausif ji,
3
finish his
people
argument.
named
Yeah.
by Rahul Gandhi,
Yeah.
Nirav Modi and Lalit Modi and Narendra Modi can file a case against Rahul Gandhi and hold him to court that why did you call me thief? And then court can examine whether that was an insult to these 3 individuals or not. Why? How is this case becoming a insult to the entire community? There is no
That argument, Tausif, needs to be proven in a court of law. I mean, it's as simple as that. You and I can have a kangaroo court here and decide whether it's true or not, but a court of law has to decide. And when the magistrate court decided, they said it is an insult to the community and the offence is taken and there's an offence which is made out. A quick response from Swati and then I'll go to Sanju Verma. Yes, Swati.
Let me clarify right in the beginning, I mean, at the end of the debate, of course, but which I was saying earlier also, we have the highest regard for the court of law.
Yeah.
We have the highest belief and faith in the judicial system that we have in the country. And that is why we will be availing our remedies available, the constitutional remedies available before us with the High Court and then to the Supreme Court if the need be. So let me just clarify that when we criticize the judgment, we are not criticizing the court or the integrity of the court.
I take that
point.
Second
thing I want to make very clear out here, because this whole judgment that we are talking about, right? Of course, like I said, we can discuss the grounds as well. But if you see, the judge has in last 3 pages of the judgment only said insult to the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. That is what he's discussing for 3 pages. But Mr. Narendra Modi, like my dear friend Tausif right now said, Mr. Narendra Modi is not before the court. Secondly, this judgment also relies upon Navjot Singh Sidhu's judgment. And they say that, okay, when you're talking about suspension of conviction, you need not go into the merits yet. The session court has gone into merits because in Mr. Sidhu's case, where he was tried for murder and convicted for murder, his conviction was set aside.
I'm totally short of time. The last word from Sanju Verma. Last word from Sanju Verma. Sorry, Swati, I'm short of time. I have to give time to everyone. Sanju, please.
I need to rebut now.
Swati, you made your point. Swati, you made your point very succinctly. Sanju Verma, please. One at a time.
This is not fair.
Sanju Verma, please. Yes,
Thank
Sanju.
you.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Anusha, let me be very clear that for the Congress spokesperson to be sitting here and saying that, the last 3 pages of the judgment only spoke about Prime Minister. Yes, as Prime Minister of the country, he deserves an iota of respect. Rahul Gandhi continued saying, Chaukidar chor hai, even after Supreme Court asked him not to. Finally, Meenakshi Lekhi had to file a contempt of court complaint against him. It was then that Rahul Gandhi said, please, with folded hands to the Supreme Court, mujhe maaf kar dijiye. This is the same Rahul Gandhi who in Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh used derogatory words for Amit Shah, saying murder accused Amit Shah, despite the fact that the Supreme Court in 2016 gave a clean chit to Amit Shah in the Sohrabuddin encounter case. My limited point is this. Rahul Gandhi has not learnt his lessons. He behaves like a politically juvenile person who's trying to settle his political scores by maligning the judiciary. And Anusha, this was said by the Supreme Court in its historic verdict on 5th April 2023, few days back, when Abhishek Manu Singhvi was representing 14 opposition parties, saying that the Modi government is misusing ED and CBI. And Justice Chandrachud said, if you do not have political space, you need to fight your political battles at the hustings, but not within the premises of the judiciary. We will not fight your political battles.
On that note, Sanjuji, I'd end the debate by saying that to get some kind of relief and especially a stay on his conviction is imperative for Rahul Gandhi. His entire political career depends on it. But other than the legal battle that he has to fight, there's also the political battle of perception that will go on in the public sphere. I thank all my panelists for joining us on the broadcast. We'll continue talking about the story. The story is far from over right now. There's some latest news coming. And SpaceX Starship, the world's biggest rocket, has exploded during the test flight in the Gulf Coast of Texas. SpaceX says that there was an unscheduled disassembly, adding that it is analyzing the data and the circumstances under which this incident unfolded. Yash with us on the broadcast. Yash, what exactly happened?
Well, Anusha, it's still unclear to exactly what happened because this week also on Monday, the SpaceX had actually tried to make a similar attempt when in fact there was a pressurization issue which the company has said had occurred, and now yet again made this very attempt, and in fact the flight took off this very Starlings took off, but couldn't make to the very destination which which the company had actually wished to attain. But if we look at the company's stance on this entire matter, earlier also, company had maintained that they knew it was very unlikely that this mission will be accomplished, but still very certain that this is a very big step because.
All right, Yash, as you get us all the details, there's some more breaking news which is coming in. Indian Army has released a statement after the death of 5 Jawans. The Army has said that at approximately 15 hours, 3 p.m., one Army vehicle moving between Bimbar Gully and Punch in the Rajouri sector was fired on by unidentified terrorists taking advantage of heavy rains and low visibility in the area. The vehicle caught fire due to the likely use of grenades by the terrorists. Operation is in progress to locate the perpetrators. That's the big news that we're getting at this point in time. This is a statement that has been put out by the defense establishment. Akash is with us on the broadcast. Akash, give us more details about what transpired.
Right. So first of all, you see, this is a terror attack. It has been made clear by the sources within Indian Army, and this incident happened at around 3 p.m. today when in the Rajouri sector, one army vehicle was basically attacked by these unidentified terrorists. We have been told that they started firing on that particular vehicle first, and then Army sources are in fact telling that there was a use of grenade. In fact, they are in fact suspecting. We have been told that we have lost 5 of our Jawans, and also one Jawan is injured and he has been shifted to a nearby hospital. This is a biggest development because initially, you see, it was said that lightning can be the cause of fire. However, at this point in time, Army sources and in fact a Northern Command is somewhere confirming that this was a terrorist attack where we have lost 5 of our Jawans. Also, you know, it is important that at this point in time, this area is witnessing heavy rainfall, and this was the reason why, in fact, Army officers are saying that these terrorists somewhere took the advantage of the particular weather conditions and they started firing on the particular vehicle, and after that, we have been given to understand that we have lost 5 of our Jawans.
5 Jawans have lost their lives. Akash, as you pointed out, this is a statement that the Army has released. My colleague Akash is getting us all the details. Once again, for the benefit of our viewers, the Indian Army has released a statement after the death of 5 Jawans. The Army has said that this was a terror attack at approximately 15 hours. One Army vehicle moving in between the Punch in the Rajouri sector, it was fired upon. The unidentified terrorists opened fire. And after this incident unfolded, they had taken advantage of the weather condition, heavy rains, low visibility area that apparently helped the terrorists in this particular area. Joining us on the broadcast is Major General SP Sena, who's joining us on the broadcast to give us more perspective on the story. Major General Sena, thank you so much for speaking with us. 5 Jawans have lost their lives. This is a firing incident which has been reported the terrorists took advantage of the weather conditions. How do you view this entire incident?
First of all, it's very sad, tragic. I'm pained. Secondly, I would like to pay my respect to the departed brave souls who have laid their life in the service of Mother India. Third, I would like to state the very fact that the Army has confirmed that it was a terrorist attack. That means it has international angle, it has Pakistan angle, it has Pakistan ISI angle. Fourthly, weather conditions being bad, these people have just come out from a corner, attacked the vehicle, killed our Jawans, and they have melted away. They have vanished. They have taken advantage of bad weather and they have vanished into the lanes and by-lanes. Now, why this is happening is because the way Pakistan is getting exposed and it is getting cornered, it is not getting loans, it is in total doldrums, the economy is in economic morass, and Pakistan feels that for all this, only Modi government is responsible, and therefore they leave no opportunity to target India wherever they can, whether it is at international level or spreading terror. When they strike terror, they get political mileage. Because there are certain Jawans in this country who start saying country is not safe, is a governance failure, Modi ji has failed. So it gives a handle to Jawans in India, few political parties, and it gives mileage to Pakistan.
Indeed.
So it suits both of them. Each is supporting each other. So I think this is the angle. But my only worry is,
I agree with you that the narrative has to be right on the story, and I would strike the note with which you began your argument. Very unfortunate news that 5 of our Jawans have lost their life in this dastardly attack that has happened. SP Ved, the former DGP, is also joining us on the broadcast. Sir, thank you so much for speaking with us. Mr. Ved, how do you view this incident? Unfortunately, 5 of our Jawans have lost their lives.
Very sad, and I think the whole nation pays its tribute to the great souls who have laid down their life for the country. My heart goes to their families, and very unfortunate that this thing has happened. I was expecting something big because Pakistan is basically pissed off because of G20 meetings taking place in India and particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, likely to be held in near future. So it would like to create international news so that somehow it is sabotaged, and unfortunately...
Mr. Ved, there has been a heightened sense of vigilism, a strict law and order situation, and a special focus the government has put in the Jammu and Kashmir region ever since the abrogation of special status. And facts and figures are there to establish that the terror activities have come down. This particular sector, the Bimbar Gully and the Poonch sector in the Rajouri area, has it been marred by similar instances in the past as well? Have we seen something of this nature earlier?
Yes, we had a lot of incidents when terrorism was at its peak in the late 1990s and early 2000s. In fact, this area was badly affected, but for quite some time it has been peaceful. But if you remember the terror attack in a village in Rajouri, that group is still not have been tracked down, and I think we all need to work out, both army, police and paramilitary, to find out who these people are, and sooner they are tracked down and eliminated, the better it is before they
Major
cause
General
any more
K.K.
damage.
Sinha is also joining us on the broadcast. But before I go to Major General K.K. Sinha, SP Ved, sir, last question that I want to take from you, which is the modus operandi, the manner in which this entire attack was carried out. They were fired on by unidentified terrorists. They took advantage of heavy rains and low visibility in this area. Clearly, they had the information. There's an intel leak here, which could be deduced prima facie.
Yes. In fact, they must be having some hint of movement of the army. And as far as weather is concerned, I'm speaking from Jammu. The weather is terrible. In fact, it is lightning, heavy clouds, and I think this region must be affected by bad weather. And Poonch being a hilly district must be even worse than this. So weather is bad, no doubt, and taking advantage of the weather, and also some intelligence inputs about movement of the army. After all, you have people working as OGWs in this area who would inform the terrorists that army movement is taking place, and that's why this unfortunate incident.
All right, Major General K.K. Sinha and Mr. A.K. Sivach are both joining us on the broadcast. Major General K.K. Sinha, first coming to you. Your thoughts on this unfortunate incident that has happened?
Very tragic, the news that is coming from the front line, especially in the Poonch and Rajouri area. It is very close to LOC, and it is happening again. Poonch and Rajouri, which actually saw the in the initial state the insurgency coming from there, especially in the Surat area. It is actually the beginning of the insurgency when it started and when militancy came up, and now this hybrid war. Now again, it has been news last about a year and a half now. And this incident is very unfortunate and very, very, which has to be taken in account for. In this area, we all know that the way the things have now been activated, and it has again in both the regions, and it is being very close and being activated. So when we say that, now when we see this type of incident happening, it is not a stray firing. It is absolutely
targeted.
Because those areas, launch pads and launch, the areas from where the people come, they do that and they go back.
And, in spite
So,
of
sir,
that,
prima
got a
facie,
2
with
year
the method that has been adopted or the modus operandi which has been adopted, what does it tell us in your experience?
Yeah, it is a very, what they do it because the launch pad and from where they come, those areas from where the terrorists, are launched, they come and they get merged into the area which is absolutely rugged. This area in Poonch, Rajouri, and Surankote area, which is a huge, huge area.
Yeah.
From there, they make their bases and it has got some natural hiding places.
Okay.
They get the information, especially they take the advantage of the weather condition.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah.
but you were saying before that it is really, really bad. The weather conditions
Sir,
are
I'll take
bad.
all
They
these
take
points to
advantage
Major
of-
General A.K. Sivach also. He's with us on the broadcast. Meanwhile, the Army Chief has also apprised Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh of this entire situation. The operation to hunt to nab these terrorists is underway. One Jawan has also been seriously injured. He's been taken to a local hospital. 5 Jawans have lost their life in this dastardly grenade attack that happened on an army truck. These are the latest details that we get for you first here on CNN News 18. Major General Sivach, how do you see this unfortunate incident? What does it look like prima facie to you?
The point is that in case if this is just a Mohammed handiwork, which was, was doubted because the point is that now the presidency of SCO and G20 is there and there are meetings taking place even in Srinagar. And we are trying to show to the world that total normalcy has come, which is in fact there in Kashmir Valley. As on today, there are only 40 regular terrorists of Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaish Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen are left. Their leader left. The leader has been wiped off. There is a complete development taking place in Valley as such. So the point today, they want to show that the Kashmir or Jammu and Kashmir is still, there are indigenous problems going on. And that's why they have started off this sort of activity. And this ambush can be done by Jaish Mohammed the way the things are now coming, that they have used a hand grenade and they may have thrown on the vehicle and which has caught fire. Now, this area is very vulnerable for infiltration. That point we must see. What is happening is, as far as this area, it is a forested area, points to Rajouri, very close to the line of actual control.
Yeah.
There is the chances of the terrorists sneaking in. There is a sport available there. There is a sport available on ground. There are OGW, there are sleeper cells, which are giving the input about the army. So this sort of incident, unfortunate but possible, and we have to go all out to nab all these terrorists, those which are functioning south of Pir Panjab. So another point which we must take into consideration is that as on today, the snow is still not melted in north of Pir Panjab in Kashmir Valley. The passes are still closed.
Right,
But as far as south of Pir Panjab, the passes are open because there hardly any snow takes place there. And the infiltration can take place. And therefore, this can be handiwork of the Jaish Mohammed terrorists, which are able to sneak in this area, strike, and then try to merge with the population because the local support is still there. And that is what happened last month when this operation
The local
continued
support
for 9
and the
days.
manner in which the agencies or the authorities have cracked down upon the terror nexus. That's one aspect. Major General S.P. Sinha, I hope you're still with us on the broadcast. We also have Major General K.K. Sinha, who continues to be with us on the show. Let me try and cut across to him. Major General Sinha, the present government, and as I earlier mentioned, after the abrogation of Article 370, there has been a special focus on the security situation within the valley in the Jammu area to ensure that overground and underground workers who support terror activities in any sense are nabbed, taken action against. The government has rather adopted a very strict approach. The last fight is still not over as far as the situation in Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, but the terror-related incidents have come down. Each time a precious life is lost, each time an incident of this nature happens, it's time for us to introspect and see what is it that we can do better to fight this terror battle in Jammu and Kashmir. Major General Sinha. All right, we'll try and connect to Major General Sinha. Major General A.K. Sivach, I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, that's the point, if you can talk about that, that in the spirit of introspection, in the spirit of understanding what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir, as you rightly said, these are precious lives that have been lost. What kind of support do these terror elements still have from within Jammu and Kashmir?
There are sports which is available in south of Kashmir and in fact south of Pir Panjab. There are this area. Here then, the terrorism was at a very low ebb. The main focus of the security forces was also in Kashmir Valley. where the terrorism was there and it has been wiped out. Now, as far as Pakistan is concerned, it will try to activate those areas which were lying dormant. Now, Rajouri Poonch area is very close to, the line of control. Second thing is, also there is a thick vegetation. Infiltration is easier. They strike and they can go back. And third thing is, there is a public sport, there is a local sport available. There are overground workers and sleeper travel functioning. And that's how this is happening. So therefore, we need to focus now in this Punch Rajouri area now more, because Pakistan will try its best to create a sort of a problem now when the SCO meeting and G20 meeting taking place. Remember, there is a G20 meeting taking place in Srinagar. We want to show to the world that as on today, that the total normalcy has come in Jammu and Kashmir.
I think, sir, that's a very valid point that you're making, that this is an attempt to show that all the attempts by the government of India have failed. That's what the terrorist element want to make a point. But they'll fail in all these attempts, because this is a fight that India will continue to take on till the last. This is for greater peace and stability in Jammu and Kashmir. This is a dastardly terror attack that has happened on army. 5 of our Jawans have lost their life. Raksha Mantri has already been spoken to. The army chief has apprised him of the situation. 1 soldier has been injured. He's been taken to a nearby hospital. Latest details here on CNN News 18. My colleague Tejinder Singh Sodhi also with us on the broadcast. Tejinder, tell us, what are the details you're picking up from the ground?
Yes, you see, initially it was believed that it was a natural lightning that had fallen on the vehicle, which led to the fire and the martyrdom of 5 of our brave hearts. But now the army has issued an official statement wherein they have said that around 1500 hours, one army vessel which was moving between Dimbar Gully and Poonch in the Rajouri sector was fired upon by unidentified terrorists, and taking advantage of the heavy rain and low visibility, the vehicle caught fire due to likely use of grenades by the terrorists. 5 personnel of the Rashtriya Rifle unit, which is deployed for the counter-terror operations in the area, have unfortunately lost their lives, whereas 1 army Jawan who is battling for his life, he has been injured and he has been shifted to the military hospital where he is under treatment. If you remember, this is the same Bhata Duriya forest area in the Rajouri Poonch belt, wherein in October 2021, 8 of our brave hearts, they attained martyrdom during the terror attack in the area. At that time also, the People Anti-Fascist Front, the terror outfit, People Anti-Fascist Front had taken responsibility for the terror attack, and today also the same terror outfit has released a video wherein they have said that they carried out this lightning attack on the army. But as we speak, the entire area has been cordoned off by the army, by the local police and the BSF, and a massive manhunt is already on in the area to identify and neutralize the terrorists who are responsible for carrying out this terror attack. Also, this place is not that far away from the Dangri area of Rajouri, wherein on earlier this year there was a terror attack in which unarmed civilians, they were targeted by the terrorists and they were gunned down. So those terrorists who were responsible for the Dangri terror incident, they are still at large. They haven't been identified. So the security agencies are trying to find out whether
Tejinder, I want to understand from you about the timing of this attack. Just about a week ago, we had the announcement that India's moved to host the G20 meeting in Srinagar. Our neighbors Pakistan did not like it. I'm sure terror elements did not like it. There are, of course, efforts being made by the government of the day to ensure peace and stability and development in the region of Jammu and Kashmir. The narrative of normalcy is something that the terror elements clearly don't like. How has it really panned out in the last few months and weeks in terms of terror activities? Have we seen any kind of spike? Tejinder, very briefly from you, and then I'll take in a word from Akash as well.
Yes, you see, there have been inputs with the security agencies that the terrorists, they were planning to carry out a major terror strike, especially in the Jammu region, given the fact that in Kashmir Valley, the security agencies, they have launched a massive crackdown against the entire terror network. You see, almost large number of OGWs of the terrorists, they are already behind bars. The terror infrastructure has been greatly uprooted by the security agencies. Every day we see raids by SIA, NIA, SIU. So the entire infrastructure of terrorists in the Kashmir Valley has been uprooted, and that is the reason that terrorists, they are now trying to target the Jammu region. They are trying to shift their base towards Jammu region, and that could be one of the reasons that in the recent past we have seen two major terror strikes. First in the Dangri area, wherein unarmed civilians, the Hindus, they were identified and gunned down, and today again this terror attack on the army vehicle in the Punch area. Yes.
Tejinder Singh Sodhi continues to remain with us on the broadcast. This is a terror attack that has happened on an army vehicle. Earlier, it was anticipated and it was suggested that this happened under certain circumstances struck by lightning. But now the army has confirmed that there has been a grenade attack on an army truck. 5 of our Jawans have unfortunately lost their lives. One Jawan is injured. He's been taken to a nearby hospital. The army chief has apprised the Raksha Mantri of the entire situation. Investigation is underway. Operations are underway to nab the terrorists in this area. Experts have been telling us that prima facie this could be the work of any terror outfit. There are also certain overground and underground elements that continue to be active in the valley. I'm once again cutting across to my colleague Akash, who continues to stay with us on the broadcast. Akash, for the benefit of our viewers, once again, tell the facts that the army has put out in the public domain. What is it that they have said on record?
Definitely. So, Anusha, you see, at around 3 p.m., you know, this incident has happened, and as far as the sources within the army are concerned, so they are saying that this was a terror attack. You know, talking about this particular